In the Washington, D.C. plane crash, the flight data and cockpit voice recorders have been recovered from the passenger jet that crashed into Washington's Potomac River after a deadly mid-air collision with a military helicopter, U.S. media reported. They would be analyzed by the National Transportation Safety Board, which is leading the investigation. There were no survivors among the 64 people on the jet and 3 soldiers on the helicopter. The cause of the air crash is not yet clear, and there is no evidence that efforts to make the federal workforce more diverse have compromised air safety. While U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday, without providing evidence, linked the deadly mid-air collision of 2 aircraft in Washington to previous presidents' diversity policies. During the White House press conference, Trump said the deadly plane crash was the result of the Federal Aviation Administration's efforts to hire a more diverse and equitable workforce.
We do not know what led to this crash, but we have some very strong opinions and ideas, and I think we'll probably state those opinions now. I do want to point out that various articles that appeared prior to my entering office, and here's one. The FAA's diversity push includes focus on hiring people with severe intellectual and psychiatric disabilities. That is amazing. And then it says FAA says people with severe disabilities are most underrepresented segment of the workforce, and they want them in, and they want them, they can be air traffic controllers. I don't think so. This was in January 14th, so that was a week before I entered office. They put a big push to put diversity into the FAA's program.
Meanwhile, Kansas Governor Laura Kelly said on Thursday they are pressing federal authorities and American Airlines for answers and names of victims after a passenger plane flying from Wichita crashed in the Washington, D.C.
We know that there are 4 people from overseas that had not been notified. We don't know how many actually have. American Airlines is responsible for notifying the families of the folks who perished in this plane crash. They would like it very much if you think you might know somebody, if you think a friend of yours, a family member, or someone else was on that plane, please contact American Airlines, and let me give you their number. It is 1-800-679-8215.
Well, the global figure skating's tight-knit community was in mourning on Thursday after a passenger jet crash in Washington killed 2 former world champion coaches and young stars from the next generation of top U.S. talent. The sport's national governing body said the athletes, coaches and family members on board the flight were returning from the National Development Camp held in conjunction with the U.S. Figure Skating Championships held this year in Kansas. The exact number of people on board who were involved in figure skating or had a family member who was a skater was uncertain, but media reports said there were at least 14 on the flight. The Skating Club of Boston said it lost 6 individuals from its organization, including coaches Vadim Normov and Yevgenia Shishkova, who won the World Championships in pairs figure skating in 1994. And here's what we know so far about the Washington mid-air crash. Just before 200 GMT on Thursday, a Bombardier jet was approaching Reagan National Airport when it collided with a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter. American Eagle Flight 5342 was flying to the U.S. Capitol from Wichita, Kansas, typically a journey time of just under 3 hours. Air traffic controllers asked the jet to switch its landing route from one runway to another shortly before the crash. Ahead of the crash, controllers warned the helicopter it was on course to collide with a passenger jet. Footage captured a small aircraft heading towards a well-lit descending plane before a fireball can be seen. Both plunged into the Potomac River, with the plane fuselage splitting into 3 separate pieces. American Airlines reported 60 passengers and 4 crew members were aboard the flight, while 3 U.S. Army personnel were on the helicopter. The plane was carrying athletes and coaches from the elite figure skating world. And moving on, Israel released 110 Palestinian prisoners